Okay.
Hi everyone, very good morning. Welcome back to ITOM batch 2 day 20. How are you doing guys today?
Good.
Okay, and any questions till now from earlier sessions which we have covered?
No questions yet, Ajay. I'm still working through the now learning. So
Okay,
it's, I'm hoping to catch up over the weekend because it's hard to, you do the job and get time to
I mean
work on this.
get agreed, right? Let me share my screen quickly and we'll start here. Okay. So, yesterday we are working on application pattern and we are not able to get the version and description. Now you are able to see that's all there, but you know, we are doing some mistakes in the pattern and due to that, that's happening. You can't believe, to get that particular thing because I'm not working on couple of years. You can see on the pattern side because my role is changed, definitely. So today or currently I'm working on some different things in ITOM itself, right? So I forget about the patterns little bit, right? So but I invested a couple of hours yesterday and find out the solutions because we are doing silly mistakes and we are following the blindly the service now things, right? So what I'm doing here as of now, I'm just removing version and description and saving this record. Oh, continue. Okay, now you can see it's a blank record, right? So version and description is again blank. What we are missing here yesterday is the pattern, right? So let me go back here and go back to the applications thing and part 2. ServiceNow mention here everywhere, use the target table while we are setting the parameter value. Use the target table or the name like that, CMDB CIPPL dot sort description. Here it's also mentioned CMDB CIPPL dot name, or here you also asked to, what we need to be mentioned, but that is not correct. This is not correct because that's why we are following blindly and we are looking like ServiceNow, whatever mentioned in the ServiceNow documentation or that portal, that looks good, but that is not correct. This is the reason only we are failing that particular value to get it right. So what I did it, let me go to my Intune pattern. I am here. Everything is same, only what I change here, while we are targeting the value to that, or setting the value to the target field, right? So let me go to the debug mode. First of all, let me run this one. Okay, now it's is in debug mode, right? So what we are doing, what we mistake we are doing, we are not using this target field variable or target table variable not correctly, right? That is not correct, right? We are putting some mistakes here. And if I test this one step as well, right? So let me test this and let me showcase you. We are just putting set application name here. And if I go to the application name, whatever we want, we are able to populate this one, right? What I did change here, we have to be a little bit careful while we are putting the target value and variables, right? So here in the left hand side, if you see, this is my table on which we are targeting anything, right? So if you see that is we are working on application, so that's why application table is showcasing, but we can also search specific attribute here if you want to be like, if I need to be search for name, I can see that, right? And always try to capture or pull the value from here itself, right? So if I just want to populate these particular things in the name, I'm just putting pulling that information and putting to the name, right? Let's do one thing. Let's create one more step in this here. Okay, let's close this. Let me put one more step. I'm just putting step number 6. Okay, let's do one thing just to showcase you guys. Let me open Intune, and TCP port is blank, right? Let's populate something in the TCP port. I have not updated this one earlier as well. So let me go back here, set parameter value. Let's copy this one. Okay, let's use different this. What I'm trying to pull from computer systems variable, as we already discussed. No, we do have something here. No entry point. Host IP address, host name. Okay, let's try to put PID. Okay. So what I did, I just put the collect the variables from the temporary variables, right? Which is when we are going to in debug mode, that will automatically available from the systems, because we are able to make a connection with that particular system, right? So that is there. Now let's test this in the temp variable. Basically, we are getting temp is equal to intune at the rate 2444. Okay, but we don't want to be populate in the temp. Where we want to be populate, we want to populate in the TCP port, right? So let's search TCP here, and let's pull this variable, that particular table variable from here, and mention this. So if you see, when I'm pulling this one, we are getting TCP or CMDB CI is my table name, number 1 dot TCP port, right? That we are doing mistake earlier, because we are not mentioning that number 1. Number 1 is mentioning for the particular table. We are populating that on the first attribute of this particular table, right? So that's we are not doing. Earlier we are missing the bracket one on, and dot, so that we are missing, and we are using the simply CMDB appl dot TCP port, and due to that, that's not working, right? Let's test this, and if you see TCP port, I have populated here, right? we are I am doing just these mistakes because we are following that blindly. Service now learning, so that is my bad, right? So when I save this, let me publish this. Let me sync with mid servers. Okay. Let me
So
sync up.
Ajay, sorry, I think I missed the session where you talked about the temp. How are those temporary variables getting populated?
Right. Let me go back again. These particular variables, right?
Right.
So these particular variables belongs to my that machine which I am trying to connect in debug mode, right? So if you remember, when I'm clicking here, let me go debug mode. We are connecting our that particular Windows server on the port 2444. 2444 is my application port, right? So when I'm connecting this one, if you see now it's removed, I'm not able to connect, but yeah, once I make a connection with that, it will capturing the all information from that particular machine and that particular port, related informations, and populated in temporary variables for us, right? So let's make connection again, and let me showcase you. Till the time we are not making connections or not going to the debug mode, we are not doing the correct thing. If you see, if just we are in the debug mode, automatically each and everything will be populated here, right? So computer system variable is related to my Windows server. Like we can see OS family is Windows, OS type is Windows, OS name is Windows, management IP is this, primary host name of the server is this, host serial number is this, OS class is this, right? So that will automatically populating if we are making the correct connection with that particular server. Okay, and also we are
Right.
getting the process informations as well.
Yeah, so you are actually using it even when it's not in debug mode. You publish this, right? You publish this. So
Right. I
this
publish this, but still I'm in the debug mode of that particular machine. That's why it's showing green. Otherwise, it will be black.
Okay, but then when you're not in debug mode, will you still get the process PID? When
No, no,
right. So
no.
then, okay, so this is just for you to show us as an example, right?
Right,
Okay.
exactly. If
Okay.
I'm not in debug mode, I'm not able to get that information because in simple words, I say debug mode is just make a connection with the target machine which you want to be troubleshoot or for which you want to be take as a reference to build patterns. Right? So I'm taking an example of Windows Server here. If you are working on, let's take an example, you received a requirement from customer and you build a new pattern for Linux machine, right? And in your environment there are lots of Linux machine, but and all Linux machines you want to be populate one value, example uptime. Okay, so you can take any Linux machine from there which is already discovered, right? You just go to the debug mode and see how that will be working and how the temporary variables are there. Might be that uptime value is available in the temporary variables. If it is not, then you have to be right. Sorry, you have to be right that particular, again pattern to, using the different operations, and you have to be collect that information. So what I'm doing here, I'm just, couple of things out of the box available in the temporary variable. I'm just trying to put here and trying to populate in the different port, TCP port in different field basically. I hope you're getting it now.
Yes.
Right? So once we are done with this, we just need to be save, publish this particular pattern, and we have to be sync that particular pattern with pattern sync to mid. Once that is done, we have to go to, I already tried couple of times yesterday, but let's try once again. Let me try, what is the IP? Okay, sorry, let me copy this one. Let's remove hyphen. Okay, now let's run the Windows. So that error, as I mentioned, that error can be multiple regions. Yesterday we are failing the pattern to discover, right? So for that we can have multiple regions, but one of the region is pattern is also not correct. We are doing the incorrect, or we are putting the incorrect value there. That's why it's not able to find out, right? So that's why it's completely showing the pattern is failure. Also, as I mentioned, sometimes that will be due to that, pattern is not synced with your mid server, or sometimes it will be something, different issues basically, right? So I literally fed up with that particular thing, because when I got, because what we are doing yesterday, we are, I'm just following these particular steps, whatever they mentioned. Because why I'm following this one? Because you guys are more comfortable and you guys are got to know like we are going in the good way and the task is validating, right? Otherwise you feel whatever showcase Ajay, it's not validating and it's not working, and it's not correct, might be in your mind. But I'm following those particular informations in which I feel it's not correct to blindly following everything. If you see still, the name, they are giving that correct thing here in the value, but when they are putting that name should be mentioned, this is not the correct, and they're showcasing that value should comes like that name in tune and all, we are not getting right. So that's why it's not correct, right? So if I go to my discovery, see it's completed now. My pattern is launch, pattern launcher iTunes. If I go to discovery logs, if you see here, it's also showcasing exploring CI pattern this. If I open this on the same PID 2444, which we have mentioned in the my, while we are debugging that my pattern. Okay, see now here, if I, this executed WMI query on this with this particular response, which is our first step, right? Process PID, it's getting the results, then executing WMI query with, this is something different, Win processor, which I tried yesterday. I will tell you about that. What is that, right? Attempting this, it's going to that particular path, each and everything is there, right? Executing WMI command, this is happening. and it's fetching that informations. Then if I go to file tracking, it's clean up, nothing. Skip that, skip the file cleaning. That in order to activate the behavior, please set this mid server property. Creating CI here, it's creating the CI with the TCP port as well. It's capturing the sort description, running process key parameters, right? Or name, running process, this everything is capturing, right? Whatever we want. Version is as well, right? And delete handler is something, nothing, right? So we are getting, and it's every step of the pattern is green and checked, right? So it means we have not an issue in any issue on the pattern, right? And we can also see that PIDI extension and steps. So if something is there, that will be also highlight in the yellow or the red, right? If we are getting any error, so that is not. And if I go to my Intune, right, let me refresh this one. You see it's populated in tune 2444, version is this and this. If you remember, I just blank it out before that, right, when we are running discovery. So it's populating, and let me open the device as well just to showcase you. This is my Windows server, right? It's populating the relationships, runs on one's application, it's populating that one. If I just want to see the dependency map, we are able to see that as well. See, so on my Windows server, that application is running ITOM and with that particular IP, right? And other in below Windows server, that are the applications. If I open my Windows server dependency map, just to showcase you, that will be because on my Windows there are a couple of other things is also running, like Microsoft IS servers and the website as well. That is also capturing that information and showcasing, right? So we have to be little bit of careful while we are writing the patterns, and we should use whatever out of the box available here, or that variables we have to make sure that one. And from how we need to get the value, that is up to us, right? It's using the different parameters we can use, and we can populate the value. If I go to the next one, right, if I validate, let's validate this one first. And you can't believe, I thought ki might be I'm not following the complete steps of that particular instance, or sorry, simulator. That's why it's failing. I tried each and every steps to be see if might be due to that it's happening, because might be some service now put some validations there, like if you not complete that particular steps, you cannot go to the next steps while you are learning on using simulators. I did that as well yesterday. So I reached out to 83% now. It's successful. And how it's validating again? It's validating to check, right? It's validating to check that particular value will be populated on my target table application in iTunes basically. So that is there. We add one more field, which is something different, right? I hope, is that clear now? Any questions in that?
No questions.
Lalit, you have any question? You joined late, I think so. Lalit, if you are speaking, you're
Yeah,
on
I'm
mute.
sorry, I was on mute. Yes, sir.
Is that clear, right?
Yeah,
And I hope you got what we are missing yesterday.
right. I got that variable thing. Yes.
Sure. Thank you. I think let's move to that next thing now. Okay, let me close this. Let me close each and everything. Okay, and you see, I tried couple of, found a couple of documentation. I found they mentioned this. Lots of things are there, but no one mentioning you are doing that particular silly mistake, right? Nothing. And some of that, this is also solved one. I also provided, solution here as well, and which is accepted. But I'm still, not remembering what we are missing here, right? Why I'm not capturing the correct information. And then I got to realize immediately, like, I'm doing some silly mistakes here, right? Now the next thing is Windows, extend Windows OS server pattern. I just want to check with you guys, like, why we are doing extend pattern. Why we are extending the pattern? We have out of the box pattern available. What is the requirement? We have to be extend the pattern. Any idea?
Maybe
If we
identify.
yeah.
Sorry, come again.
I was thinking like maybe extend the trying to discover more processes or applications running.
Right. That can be possible, or yes, basically, if something new comes, like, customer ask out of the box, we are discovering 10 attributes for Windows Server specific example, right? And customer want, "Okay, I need to be discover the new thing as well. I need to be explore, or I need to be get that, like example, I already given a couple of times, uptime, or, different things, right? So customer asks to get that information and populate in any attribute on the Windows Server table. We can do that. The same way, if we have out of the box pattern available and customer asks to create or update for application, right? Okay, that this particular attribute I need to it, right? So as I already mentioned, my suggestion is don't modify out of the box identification section. If you want to do, just do in extension section every time. Don't modify. If you want to, some a different requirement to do that, just make a copy of existing pattern. Okay, and then you can build it whatever you want to do that, right? But don't modify the existing pattern, whatever you are using, or what will be used by the discovery, use as it is, whatever there. If you want to do some next things, you can extend it. And extension pattern also help out in the service mapping as well, right? While you are doing service mapping, or connection section is also there, you can use that as well, right, for service mapping connections. So now let's go back to my discovery pattern. What is the requirement here? Let's go with that as well. So what they are saying, as a cloud dimension discovery administrator, you are tasked with extending base system Windows OS server pattern and collect the processor name from the discovered Windows server. Write the value back to the description field. Use the following information to accomplish the task, right? So let's do one thing first of all. CMDB underscore CI underscore win underscore server dot list. Let me, okay, filter out. Where is that discovery source? Okay, no, it's not there. I just added yesterday. Okay, let me add one more time. Oh, it's here only. Let me filter out this. But I just want to showcase you, this is my Windows server, right? Here, if you see, the description is blank, and that particular thing, that particular task, it's saying it just want to be capture or collect the processor name, right, for Windows server. So let's get back to my discovery patterns. Let me open the Windows server. Windows OS server. Yeah, this one. Now that is a small difference. Earlier, which we worked on it, that is application type pattern, right? If you see this one, this is, I'm not sure what happened. So this is infrastructure pattern type, and if you see specifically, that is for CI type Windows server, and name is this, right? So this is for infrastructure only. And identification section, if I open this one just to showcase you. Okay, so here we are collecting related to infra related informations. I hope you are getting it. Infra means Windows server related informations, not the application which is installed on it, right? And if you see here, right, it's assigned to how we are getting that one. If we go here in the CPU, like get partial, they are doing again WMI query on Windows 32 processors to get number of cores, number of logical processor. Then they are also doing again a WMI query to get CPU, manufacturer, max speed. Why it's not, why it's increased? Yeah, I'm not sure. Let me refresh this one moment. Okay, yeah, so we are doing that particular information, and again it's the same thing, right? And in Windows, when we are working, most of the things we are doing through the WMI query only, because everything is available there. We just need to be see what is the correct root name, or sorry, namespace, and what is the correct table for that, right? Again, as I mentioned, variables, CI attribute variables is also available. And Arati, you're asking, right? If you see on the computer system, everything is blank. OS family, we are able to see the fields, but if that is blank, now you got it, why it's blank? Because we have not made any connection with that particular device till now.
Right.
Right? If we go to debug mode, connect that particular server, we are able to see that, right? So now let's get back to my Windows Server again, Windows Server pattern, and we need to be extend to collect that particular information, collect processor name, right? So I'm going here, extension section is there. If you're able to see that, I'm just going to be click on the extension, select extension section, right? So what we are doing, Windows OS, okay, Windows. Here, what I'm missing? Windows. Okay, we are extending the Windows OS information. Okay, let's do this one. Okay, and order is number one. Why I select the Windows OS? Because they mentioned we have to be select Windows OS server patterns, right? So we have to be go that way and create a new extension section called Windows OS extension, right? Open the Windows OS extensions and do the following. They have not mentioned the steps basically, right? What you need to do exactly to get that particular information description, right? But we will do like how basically that will be working, right? So where I'm here, let's me do add it. Oh no, why it's not open? Okay, let me click here, right? So I'm just loading the pattern. Oh no, I did something wrong. Might be one moment. Windows OS server pattern we are extending, right? No, it's I think something different. Let me remove this one first of all. And if I add, it should not ask for that. Why it's asking for that? It should not, right? I think we are in different one. Let me open. Is there anything else? Let me copy and see. And might be because that my instance in, oh sorry, that particular instance in upgraded. So because I'm not working from couple of long time on this. This is there. Select extension. Why it's asking to select that? Because earlier that is not there. Memory. If I select Windows OS. Okay, let's try to use the same one which we are earlier using, Windows OS information network, memory, Hyper-V, CPU. I think that is CPU now. So let's use, no issues, right? Let me go there. They have created the different libraries here, right? So now they are doing a WMI query on this and collecting the information, right? Let me add one more step. It's also saying if change made in the shared library, while saving the changes, you have to choose either save all changes, including the change library step, save pattern changes only. Okay. So let's me do next step is WMI query for what is the name of it? Process collect processor name. Collect processor name. Okay. Now what I need to do, we need to do WMI query. So let's go back and to WMI query. Again, it's not in debug mode. Let's do to debug that particular machine. So we are able to see that the output. Now, when I'm in infra pattern, you're not able to see any PID. It's not asking for anything because we are working on infra, not specific application, right? So we are not connecting to the application. We are connecting to the directly server, right? We can select the mid server and we can connect, right? It's debugging. It's collecting to make a setup and collecting that information which is available here on that particular Windows server, basically. Right. I'm still, not satisfied why they changed this one. Because earlier is not like that. If I'm not wrong, okay, OS server, desktop. If I open this one, desktop one, that is something happened in Washington release only. Earlier that is not that, because we can add directly extension section and all other extension section will be available here, whatever extended or shared libraries used by that particular pattern. We are able to see that all information here, but it's asking to select that one, right? And which is not, I'm not saying correct, but it's something. We are also not getting a custom one. We can create a custom one. All that section, all that shared libraries which is used by that, it's available here. So we have to be select one and we have to be modify on that, right? But not an issue. Let's go back, close. See, once I did, again I'm able to see that all information related to that, right? Computer variables, computer systems is there, entry points, again we are able to see that, right? So we are able to connect it. Now let's go to the guided mode. Okay, let's get data. So it retrieving the namespaces from that name, this particular field. As we know, we have to go this one, room, root with sim v2, and most of the informations will available here. And now question comes, because they also given, that namespace is this, and we can use this particular table. Again, if we don't know, okay, like how we are able to get that particular value, the processor name, right? So again, we can search on the internet, WMI query to get processor name, example. See, this is also saying the same thing. Get WMI, if we are going through that PowerShell and all, we can run that particular command, get WMI object Win32 processor, right? So Win32 processor here is our class from where we have to be selected. Now, if you see in number of cores, number of logical processors, we can run that particular command, right? So here, while we are searching on internet or Google, we can easily able to find out what we need to be do that, right? And also there's one more. Yeah, this one, processor class, right? Windows 32 processor class, what informations we have available. That is for everything: version, upgrade, Unix, site count, system calculation, this, everything is available here. Number of cores, names, max clock speed, manufacturer, this, right? Everything is available. So let's go to that Windows. It's patron. Okay, let's go to that. Now let's search for star processor. No, Windows 32 underscore processor. Okay, now it's retrieving that fields of Windows 32 processor. And what we required, we required the processor name basically, right? So let's see, name. Where it is name? Yeah, name. And let's try to see what we are getting. Temp in the temp variable again. Let's test this one. So in Windows 32 processor name field, we are getting this one, Intel Xeon R CPU, the Windows processor name basically. And I hope, if I'm not wrong, here we also looking for that as a description, right? So I'm just going to use this one, where now this is up to us, up to me, in which variable I'm going to be stored. If I just want to be stored in the temp or something else, I'm good, right? So I'm going to be stored in the temp, this particular field value. Let's add a new step below. Again, we have to do the same thing, populate field. I'm just using anything, right? And but while we are using this particular steps name and all, I think that will be good if we are using that correct one, or if anyone able to see that particular information is able to get the correct informations what we are doing on that particular field. Populate field from for processor name. Okay, again we are doing set parameter value. If now you guys can anyone tell me what value I need to be put here? How I get that particular value? Lalit, Arati, any idea?
From the temp value from the previous step.
Right, exactly. So we need to use, I need to put like dollar. Again, I use temp variable, and where I am storing this one, I'm storing in the name field, right? So name, let me remove this one. And again, let's test this one, what is coming. So if you see that is coming in the temp variable, we are only able to get now as a response this one, right? If I put is removing star and putting this one, now I'm able to get the name temp variable and value is this, right? So we have to be see the response will be coming like that only, right? So if you are using star, we are only collecting that one. Number one, we are collecting that information with the variable as well, right? So close where we now, how can I get which target we have to be populate this one, or which target variable or at field name we have to be populate this one?
You have to drag and drop from that right side.
Right. So which is the field name? The field name is description. Let me search. It's short description, right? Why it's short description? Again, we can check what is the backend name of it. The field name backend name is short description, right? So now it's done. Somehow let me save this. And if let me refresh, because its namespace is coming, so it's not clear. And just one more thing I just want to update here. While we are doing extension pattern, we no need to be publish. Okay, we just need to save. That's it. And once we saved it, because you are able to see that there is no publish button, right? So we just need to save that particular one. And here, if you see that CMDB save in server this, and under dot soft description we are getting, right? We have just saved it, but we have what we have to do. We have to sync that particular patterns with mid server, right? So I'm going to be mid server back. We can select the mid server or directly sync from here, and I can go to here as well, Windows OS server, and I can select from here as well, synchronize with the mid servers. Okay, now my mid server is synchronized. Let's run the discovery. Where is my discovery schedule? Is this? Yeah, let's go back. Click discovery on the same IP. I'm just running the discovery. Okay, now let's wait to run that particular one. Still, if you see, my description is blank. I can refresh that as well. This is blank, and we need to repopulate this one. Let's go here. Is anyone else joined today apart from you both? No.
I don't think so.
Okay, not an issue. That is running. Exploring CI pattern Windows OS server. Pattern launch for iOS in June. See, that is updated. Intel Xeon R CPU, that is updated. Now let's go back to my discovery and let me showcase you, because that we did modification in Windows OS server pattern. And if I come here, Windows CPU we have modified, right? So we are running namespace query for number of logical processors and all. Let me showcase you what we have did. We have select this one, right? Executing query on select name from Windows 32. We are selecting that information, right? So that is specially mentioned here because we modified that one. I hope you are getting it right. And we are collecting what informations that is also mentioned there. The name is this, right? So we are able to populate this one. And other, there is no error, right? So is this clear now? Just, I just want to give you one task. I think we can discuss on Monday if you are comfortable, guys. On the same existing Windows server, whatever you want to be feel, that's I required, I need to be populate. Just try to create something in extension pattern and populate one or two attribute at least on the Windows server, basically, like, in asset field or in OS service pack, whatever you want to be, like, it's up to you. In WMI query, we have lots of things available, lots of class available where you can go and you can select and you just populate that particular field, asset tag or OS service pack or any other field, whatever you want to be, right? So you can work on that particular thing as well, right? Let me go and validate this task. Let's see. Yeah, that is also done, right? So we are almost, done with ServiceNow discovery part, where we have built that, application patterns, custom patterns. We learn about discovery behaviors, discovery schedules, IP ranges, data centers, mid servers, right? The one thing I just want to mention here, or help you out, you have seen Linux discovery, you have seen Windows discovery, but you have not seen SNMP device discovery, right? Let me showcase you that as well, right? So let me go this. I have one IP. Let me do one thing. Let me create a discovery behavior first of all. So we can we are able to explore that as well, right? Little bit. So in discovery behavior, let's go this SNMP behavior only. Let's submit this. Windows SNMP. Let me open this. Let's add the functionality, discovery functionality. I'm just putting phase one. Anyone knows which functionality definition I need to be select here for SNMP? Because we want to be discover SNMP devices. I'm going with SNMP only. Okay. And let me select the mid server. Let's log this. Any criteria phase one. Let me submit this. Let's go to the discovery schedule. Let's open this. New discovery schedule. I have one IP. Let me copy this. Router. Oh, sorry, SNMP disco. Configuration item is this. Use behavior. Let me put, oh, sorry. Let me put the behavior name is SNMP1. Okay, and I think all things are correct. Yes. SNMP disco. Let me add quick ranges. If you remember, we have to be add the quick ranges to discover using the discovery schedule, and that should be comma separated, but we are using the single IP. Let's make range with this one. Now that's done. Let's discover now. Oh, it's not reachable. Why? No, earlier just couple of minutes back it's working. I tried, but not through the discovery. This one might be my, what is my status of my mid server? It's up. Let me try once again. No, what I did. Let me go back. What happened with me today or yesterday? Nothing is working in the single time. Let me put, I think space is not there. 198.51, 145, 211. Let's make range again. Let me put this to false. Let me save. No. Now I got the reason. Let me showcase you one more time in different way. Let's do quick discovery, right? We have the IP. Let's run. If you see, let me open the input payload of the Sesame probe. Why we are getting not reachable host error? Because we are using the specific discovery schedule related to behavior, and we are not able to find port 22 open, and that particular thing will be tried for port 22 open, right? Here if you see, we are only able to find port 135, 137, 427, right? So port 22 is not open and it's not able to reach that particular port, and that's why we are getting a specific error the not reachable hosts. This is the only reason. I think the port is disabled now. I think we'll see on Monday on that one. I need to be enable the port somewhere, right? That is one thing. And one more thing I just want to be mentioned. You are able to see that particular skip deactivating port probe this. You are not asked for that particular one. Why we are getting the skipping deactivated port probe TLS SSL certs? What is that? Any idea, anyone? Why we are getting this one?
Maybe the certificates are invalid and they're skipping it.
No. Okay. So the mean of this is port prop TLS SSL search is, let me showcase you port props here start TLS. See, this is TLS SSL cert port prop which is active false. Are you getting it right? This is active false. That's why when we are running discovery, it's always skipping this one, skipping deactivated port prop TLS SSL certificate. Now the question comes, what is the use of it? Why we are doing this one? Why it's false? The use of it is to discover certificates. So whatever certificate, working or running on your or customer infrastructure Linux or Windows machines, or which is discover host available in ServiceNow. For that you can discover or you can run or you can configure the discovery schedule for specific certificate, but you have to be enable this one first of all, right? So we have it's if you see that is part of the certificate inventory management and application, so you have to be enable this. And while you are configuring the discovery schedule, if I go to new again, you have to be make sure you are selecting this one certificates. You just need to use the mid server, right? There is nothing required to provide any IP address, okay, or any IP ranges. You just give the name, use the discovers certificates, certificate discovery. There are three types of certificate discovery: URL certificate, CA trust, or import certificate, right? You can use any of them. And if you are going with the URL, I think you need to be provide the URL set CA certificate. I think you're not going to provide anything, or import certificate, right? So you can use that and you can run the discovery, but make sure that particular port probe is enabled for that. If it is not, then you are not able to discover the certificate which is running on any of the host machine, that can be Windows, Linux, or any type of others, right? So that's why it's you are getting that particular error. Okay, I hope I'm clear, right? So any questions in that till now which we have covered, guys? And due with respect of that, so we are able to cover our discovery things. Now in next 5 days we are going to be move out for that CMDB class manager. Again we will discuss about IRE rules, relationships, the three metrics, basically three C's of the CMDB, like that we are going to be discussed. We are going to be discuss the query rules, CMDB duplication task, SL field mapping, each and everything, right? And not last not the least, and end of the day, we meanwhile I will set up that my setup as well. So we are going to be discuss about service graph connectors, SCCM, discovery home dashboards, or Azure cloud discovery as well, right? So this is all about the discovery. And then I'm going to be start CSDM, and then event management and the service mapping. We are going in this particular flow. I hope any
Ajay,
question.
Ajay,
Yes.
would you mind just opening a calendar and showing them now that we completed 4 weeks, what's your agenda for the next few weeks? How long would this go? So,
As I mentioned, right? So next 5 days that will be there. I already mentioned, right?
right.
And if I go to my event management, I already know I have not put it in that way, but in event management, what I need to be cover, I am going with that particular things. Event management overview, event versus alerts, how to set up knock, how knock setups works, event management tool integrations, event rules, alert management rule, alert correlations, maintenance rules, and Q&A. Then service mapping, again, service mapping dependent on the discovery. So you already know the discovery, but what other different things required in the service mapping that we are going to be discussed: service mapping overview, pre-req service mappings, service mapping configurations, type of service mappings, custom pattern for service mappings, basically trailing the patterns of service mapping, practical and service maps, and how we can use the service maps with that event management. That's again. So once I will start, that is particular points I put it in, in major sites, but definitely if you have any other questions and all other things we will discuss. And when we are talking about service mapping configuration, I'm going to be discuss about the tag based service mappings, application service mapping, manual, automated, everything.
So, Ajay, would you be talking about in the service mapping, of course, tag based and this? Would you also be talking about how ML is used in service mapping? Is that something that we'll touch upon?
I will talk about, but I cannot show anything on that side
Oh,
because that is not in our control. That is everything controlled by the service now. But I will prepare something to showcase you how ML in working in the service maps at the backend will showcase you that.
while that discovery is going on, how the ML thing will work and
Right.
we,
I will give you some idea on that, but uh, that something is not in our control, basically on the PDI, right? That's something managed by
oh,
the server now, and we cannot modify that particular MLs and all, right? And ML is nothing, right? It's learning the pattern from what we are doing on the instance, and based on that, it's generating the things for us, basically. That I feel.
okay. So as of today, we completed the SCIE as of now. If we were to take, and now we're going back to CMDB, then we go to what do you call CDSM, and then we go to event management and discovery. Okay,
Right.
okay,
That's my plan, basically.
okay, got it. And one final thing, I don't want to take it. I think, is there any? I mean, I know this is a stupid. Is there any like consolidated PDF or something that I get like 30 minutes, I can just read through it, kind of thing? Because documentation is so vast, and the practical thing, instead of seeing a video, we would prefer to read. Personally, I would prefer to read for an hour or so, just to get my
So
concepts back. Is there anything that you could share that you have with you, or something that you could point out to?
Right. So I can share that PPT which I just showcase you, but uh, PPT or other things or any documentation will not give you the comprehensive knowledge, right? So it will give the comprehensive knowledge, not the deep knowledge. Basically, you will get to understand the process only, right? But end of the day, while you're working, like I feel now as well currently, what I learn basically
Okay.
from any trainers or anything, and while I'm working, the use case most of the time are not same. But what is the benefit for me? Because I already know the things how that will be working. Like example, discovery certificates I just showcase you, right? I'm also working on something like that, right? And I'm not sure how to discover that one because there is no out of the box things. No, I'm thinking about the custom pattern as well, right? So, you know, couple of times the scenario comes like that. We don't know where we need to go and what need to be do. But if we are aware about the process, we are aware about that, how the things we are following, then I think we can achieve it in simple words. Right, so I
Got it.
can I can share that whatever things I have available, like discovery pre-req, yeah, service mapping pre-req, which I already shared with you. But if something like that which is I feel that is required, you should know it, then definitely I will share that particular documentation. I don't have any issue to share the knowledge whatever I have it for the
Thanks.
documentation. Yeah.
And
Okay.
actually, one more question, like because we are going to be going through the now learning discovery as moving forward with uh, CMDB and CSTM. So if we still have any questions, you will be willing to answer like towards the end of the class, right? Pertaining to
100%.
discovery or
That is not 100%. If you have any questions related to anything, till the time you are in the class or after that as well, it's not like that, you are we are working together 40 days only or 30 days, right? After that as well, if you feel if you feel as I need your small help, I can definitely help you out on that one, right? And still, couple of people who learned or who trained from my side earlier, they are also still reaching out to me. Ajay, I'm facing that issues. How can I resolve it? I'm definitely going to be help out. But again, the condition is only it depends on the timing, right? Might be while you're paying me, I'm not available or busy. But as soon as I see your message or as soon as I am available, I'll definitely help you out on those things.
Okay, thanks.
100%. It's not a
Ajay,
big.
is this the only training that you give, or do you give training on other modules as well?
So my main or core area is ITOM only.
Uh-huh.
I'm, planning to start something on ITEM, but not now because uh,
Okay.
from last 7 or 8 years, if you say I'm working on ITOM, right? Only ITOM, nothing else. So and I love that because earlier I worked as an infra engineer as well, infra support, and after that I worked on the NOC as well, NOC engineer or NOC lead. So I know about that, how infrastructure works, like Windows servers and all, and how monitoring works on that, how we are going to be configure the monitoring, and what is the impact of the monitoring and all, right? So I worked on those sides mostly, so that's why I choose only to work on ITOM side. I little bit worked on ITSM or ITAM as well. I'm still learning ITAM fully, but I'm more comfortable in ITAM ham side, hardware asset management, learning the SAM side. But that is not my plan for now, for next 3 4 months as of now.
Got it. But I mean, there is so much demand for ITOM. Just, I mean, to what I've seen is there's so much demand, and then the bad part, what I've seen is everyone is able to kind of get the CMDB running and kind of get that discovery thing, but everyone is stuck at the service mapping. I mean, if we could get that service mapping thing figured out, right? I mean, there's so much opportunities. That's what I've been seeing in the market. I don't know about others. That's my personal
100%.
assumption.
Right, Lalit. So, service mapping is something next level to the discovery. And there are lots of things, lots of scenarios, basically.
So basically, whatever, I mean, just to reiterate, right, whatever we are, the way I see this course is I see this as three different parts, right? Whatever we have learned till today is like we got to be perfect in this. The next 2 weeks would be more about, hey, you got to know this, right? No matter who you are, you need to know about CMDB, CSDM concepts because you are in ServiceNow ecosystems. So that's the second part. The actual, the harder part is coming after 3 weeks. Is it a right assessment, Ajay?
No, I think you're saying right, basically, but in ServiceNow ecosystems, we should know the basic things. But yeah, service mapping is something I also feel tough because we have to do lots of things, and service mapping is not one thing which we can achieve in a single day, right? The main thing which I feel, the pre-rec, getting the pre-rec from the customer. Second thing is, you know customer environment is that much complex. You cannot do complete service mapping for one service map. Let me give an example here. You're building a service map for infrastructure on-prem CIS, basically. I'm not going for cloud or anything, right? On-prem. But customers want everything on that particular service map. If customer is connecting to third party server, which is not available in their CMDB itself, which they don't have any control on it, and customer wants to be make a connection with that, how you're able to do that?
Right, right.
Right, because that is not part of their CMDB, that is not their control, but still customer want, if any impact there, we can get to know. But so in that case, what we have to do, we have to create a manual CI in ServiceNow CMDB. We just need to attach with that particular service map, and needs to be connect with the customer team. If anything happening, we just trigger an event or email something, so we can automate. So automatically, if something happening, we will get an alert at our side through that particular service map. But again, it's not pure automatic or complete automatic. It's somehow semi-automatic now, because earlier we are using infrastructure of internal. Now we are also connecting with outside, and which is not updating. If customer or the third party vendor change that particular XYZ server from their side, replace it with XYZ IP to Y IP example, we are not able to get an update, right? But in internal, if we are able to do that automatically using the config files. So
Right, right.
the
I always remember initial classes you used to say discovery is not God. So I remember that statement.
Right, that is possible, right? But what I feel, and till I think from last 5 to 6 years, I see 7 years approx. Before 7 years, I worked for Service Maps. Okay, and that still not mature. That is discovery and other modules are matured in service now. Like event management is too much mature now. Discovery is much mature now. Every day we are getting lots of pattern and other things, but service mapping is not that much matured as of now. And I'm definitely sure it will take a lot time to be matured enough in service now itself.
Right, because every company has so much customization, so much
Yes,
own and
that's
third party that it's kind of close to,
right. And if we are not able to do that, then there is no use of it, the service maps, right? Because s- organizations can handle their internal impact. Okay, they are able to give lots of things on that, right? But main impact is somehow when we are connecting with third party applications, or any payment gateway or any other things which is going to be impact. If that is not working, that will be a big issue for them or any organization. But no worries, I think we'll discuss on that part definitely more
sure. Thank you so much, Ajay. Thanks for
no,
your information.
anytime. Any other questions, guys, from your?
Thank you, Ajay. No questions from me.
Okay, sure. I think then thank you. Let's meet on Monday. But yeah, just to tell you, you are only two here. I will put on the group as well. On the 2nd of October, I will be taking a leave. So we'll inform you on that group as well. It's a public holiday, so we should enjoy or celebrate that one. Right? So that's all. Thank you. Have a
All
good
right.
day. Bye.
Thanks. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. Bye.